Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm continuing on with my horror movie marathon, which is just ongoing. I'm always watching horror movies, and I just recently watched Vacancy. So, what do you follow up Vacancy with but Motel Hell, the 1980 classic? Now, I have a bit of confusion about this film because I was just doing a bit of research, and people have been referring to it as a horror comedy, and I'm like, I've never seen it as a horror comedy. I get that there's some black humor in the film and there's some irony in some of the scenes, and some people feel that it is a satire of films like Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I don't really see it. Now, some critics have complained that even though it's supposed to be a comedy, it's not funny at all, and it's not. But I didn't really see it as supposed to be funny. I think sometimes studios and people just get it in their head to market a film a certain way, or that a film can be marketed a certain way, and they don't actually care if it is. So I don't think this film is a comedy. I don't think it was meant to be a comedy. I don't think it works as a comedy. I don't think it ever worked as a comedy. But people consider it a comedy, so it's a bit perplexing to me. Now, the film, I mean, the I'm looking at the poster right now. The poster for this that was on the video is just a classic, and it's just disturbing. It's basically four people buried up to their necks in a garden, and the original poster that I've seen was it is basically they have ropes around their necks, and there's a person in a tractor driving, and they're basically choking these people who are buried up to their necks in the garden. Now, the poster I'm seeing here actually has the heads just buried up to their necks and has the two main characters standing behind them, kind of a little bit American Gothic like, with the hotel in the background instead of the tractor. So I think there's different versions of this, but I'm not sure which version was the theatrical poster, which version was the video poster. But I just remember seeing this as a kid in the video store. I don't think I ever rented it for some reason. I might have seen it in one of the video stores later on when I moved, because I had a limited video store when I was growing up, and then obviously I moved to Melbourne and there are a lot more video stores that had a wider selection, particularly of horror movies. So I might have seen it later on. And I didn't really remember it, honestly. It wasn't until I found it on YouTube recently that I watched it again. And basically it's a story of a man and his... I don't know if they're related. I never quite worked out what their relationship was. I suspect it wasn't what they said it was. They basically run a motel, and they have an amazing meat tray, platter, something. I don't know. They're famous for their meat, and their meat, of course, is human, which, of course, nobody knows because they have basically been trapping and kidnapping and then planting in the garden people, literally burying them up to their necks, sticking bags over their heads so no one can see them, cutting their vocal cords so they can't make anything other than noises, and they basically fatten them up and then serve them. And it's like I said, it does have some black humor, and there is some irony in some of the scenes and the scenarios that they have in the film. But primarily, it's just these two characters who are very Christian. That like this one guy basically just has Christian infomercials like on all day, and he's always sort of judging people and finding justification in morality to kill these people. Like, well, these are sinners, so, and they set up an ad to attract some kinky couples to a swingers thing, and then they kill them, and they think they're playing a game, and they're not. And then usually he just, shoots people's tires out on the road, and then they crash, and then he goes and knocks them out and drags them and buries them. He does find one couple, and he buries the man in the garden, but he keeps the woman, and they keep her at the house because she's young and beautiful, and there are some scenes where they're interacting with people, customers who are buying the meat, or other people staying there, or people they seem to know, and in some ways they are just sort of doing this out in the open, but getting away with it because no one really believes their sort of humour and some of their comments and that. But I always saw it as just a straight horror movie with just a little bit of black humour and a little bit of irony. I do not see this as a horror comedy, and I just can't. I might watch it again, but I don't know if it's because that's how I saw it as a kid. Now I can't change how I've seen it, or if it's just really not what the film is, and either it failed in its intention or it was mismarketed, and some people just sort of bought into the marketing and they see it that way, and they don't actually look at it objectively. I'm not really sure, but I would own this just for the poster alone. I mean, it's available on YouTube as far as last time I checked, it was there. But I really need to buy it on DVD. It's been released on DVD and Blu-ray recently, actually, I just discovered. So I'd buy it just for the cover, just for the artwork, just to be able to look at that, because that is, I just remember that image of those four people buried up to their necks in this garden. And I'm pretty sure my video cover had the tractor pulling on their necks, not the American Gothic style characters standing behind them. But yeah, it's an interesting little classic horror movie. If you haven't seen it, I would. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Bye.